Welcome to Ditch Auto Unlocking Manual Photography. My name's Jared, and today we're going to look at camera raw in Photoshop. The next two episodes are actually going to be about this. The first one is going to be how to set up Photoshop so that pretty much all images that you open are going to open in camera raw. Now the reason that you might want to do this is because if you're shooting JPEGs and you want to be able to edit them in camera raw, you have to set up Photoshop a specific way in order to do this. So let's do that really quick. Go up here to your Photoshop menu, go down to Preferences, and then go over to File Handling. You may have to just click on Preferences if you're in an older version of Photoshop, and then choose File Handling from one of the menus here. Then you want to click on Camera Raw Preferences. Then at the bottom of that, you'll have JPEG and TIFF handling. Now, by default, this is usually set to another setting. I have it set to automatically open all supported JPEGs and automatically open all supported TIFFs. Now, if you're shooting JPEG in your camera and not shooting RAW, you typically will not have an image open in camera raw. When you have it set up this way, if you go and open a specific image, for example, if I was to go and open this particular JPEG right here, it typically would not open in camera raw. It would just open right in Photoshop. However, I like my images to open in camera raw first because then I have the option to make adjustments to that photo, even if it is a JPEG, because sometimes I have a client that'll send me a JPEG image, or perhaps maybe I was only shooting in JPEG at the time, which is very rare, but in that instance, I can come into camera raw easily, make my adjustments, and then go into Photoshop and make other adjustments. I like using the camera raw adjustments for, exposure, shadows, and highlights and all of that stuff. I find it to be a much faster tool to use than to go into Photoshop and use adjustment layers and stuff like that. Obviously, there's a time and a place for adjustment layers for making specific adjustments to items as opposed to these settings here, which more or less affects the overall photo as a whole. But I like to come in here first and kind of, see if I have any areas of my photo that are blown out, or if I need to, maybe bring back some of the shadows. There's lots of different things that you can do in here. For example, see these highlight detection warnings, or the detection warnings for if your photo is too dark in some areas, see where it turns blue there. So I'm going to do more of an episode on camera raw as a whole, but I wanted to show you how to set up Photoshop so that if you are shooting JPEGs and not raw images, how do you get access to that camera raw? How do you get those photos just to automatically open in camera raw so that you can manipulate them there? So that's going to do it for this episode of Ditch Auto. Make sure to join in on the conversation that we're all having over on Facebook in our Facebook group, which is located at facebook.com/groups/ditchauto. Thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time.